Why are animated videos the way to go? Humans are visual learners and engage and respond the best to visual content as it captures our attention better and we can process the information faster. Live videos have their place as well, of course, and can be extremely effective for your business. However, there are a few things that animated videos do better. They can keep your attention longer and are fun. Humans, especially internet users, tend to have short attention spans. You likely already know how important it is to hook your customers' attention quickly and then keep it. This is no easy task. With animated video, you can target various triggers within the brain to elicit a more emotional response from your viewers. For example, visuals from an animated video can be much more likely to trigger an emotional response than a plain talking head video. People are also generally more accustomed to associating talking head videos with marketing, and as such can have a subconscious shield up when they see this. Animated videos do not tend to be associated as much with marketing and are more seen as fun. This allows you to capture your viewers' attention more easily and hold it. Animation allows you to simplify and shorten otherwise long and complex topics. With live videos and text-based videos, it can be very hard to explain or communicate certain topics without rambling on for ages, and this is likely to bore your viewer and make them switch off. With animated videos, you can do pretty much whatever you like when it comes to visuals. You can condense what would have otherwise taken a minute of screen time with a live video and create a fun scene that explains the concept within seconds and more effectively. Animation can be nostalgic. This can be highly effective depending on your target market. Many of us often associate animation with TV programs and movies when we were younger. If you know how to tap into these nostalgia triggers, you can very easily hook your viewer. Animation works for just about any niche. Regardless of what type of business you're in or whatever product or service you're offering, animated video can be applied to your marketing strategy. You can find animated explainer videos for just about everything you can think of. It's often much cheaper to produce than a traditional live video. The costs of creating an equivalent live video quality-wise are often much higher. You have many costs including actors, equipment, and lots more. These also tend to take much longer to produce and can be a lot more stressful. Animated videos take less effort and, in many cases, still perform better. Show that your business is modern. Although extremely effective, many businesses still aren't using video in their marketing strategy. On the flip side, many of the ones that are using video are not doing so effectively. Having compelling and engaging videos as part of your marketing strategy shows your customers that you are on top of all the digital trends and helps your business stand out from the crowd. Hopefully you can see by now just how valuable animated videos can be for your marketing campaigns. It is no surprise that thousands of companies are starting to utilize them every day now for their business, including many of the tech giants. Although animated videos can be an incredible tool, you still have to do it right. It is very easy to throw together an amateur explainer video without much thought and hope for the best. It happens all the time. However, in order to fully utilize the power of explainer videos, there is a formula that must be followed. Let's now look at how you can begin creating highly effective explainer videos for your business. The first step to creating your video script is to create a brief summary of what you want the video to be. You should create this before you even start writing the first line of dialogue or visuals. The brief should address more than just the visual and audio of the video. It should address the video's purpose. Is it to get people to buy your newly released product? Or maybe it's to increase brand awareness on social media. Video style. What is the style of your video going to be like? Is it going to be fast-paced with lots of colors and fast animations, or is it going to be slower and make use of more text? Video duration. How long do you plan on the video being? Is it a short 30-second promo, or is it a longer 5-minute product tour? Target audience. Although your target audience generally stays the same across all your marketing, you may intend to use a specific video to target a specific segment of your market audience. Intended distribution channels. Where do you plan on publishing the video? Is it going to be on your website, social media, or maybe even TV? What do you want the audience to take away? What do you want the audience to learn from the video? Do you want to educate them on a certain topic? Or do you want them to know all about how good your business is rated so you can turn them into a client? Your call to action. This is one of the most important aspects of your video. What is your call to action going to be? Are you going to prompt the user to subscribe to your newsletter, or are you going to direct them to a launch page on your website? The script is a crucial step in bringing your idea to life through video. It might seem daunting at first, But once you know the steps to creating a successful script, it will make your life a whole lot easier. Many people tend to overlook the script writing process as a waste of time. However, a solid script is the key to a successful video. Of course, there are times when a script may not be necessary, or at least not a fully detailed script. Examples of this may be a short 5-second entertaining social media video. However, for many videos where there's a lot of content and you are trying to push your product or service, a script is a necessity. Examples of this may be a live-action sales video with you going through product features and demos of your product. Or it may be an animated explainer video that shows the benefits of your business and service. As with many tasks, the key to writing a script efficiently is breaking it down into smaller manageable pieces. It's a good idea to create scripts and other documents within Google Drive or other cloud-based platforms like Office 365 so you can access and edit them from anywhere, as well as share with collaborators in your team if you have some. Once you have written your script, it's time to read over it again. However, this time, read over it from the viewpoint of your target audience. Pretend you are the viewer for a moment when reading the script. This can help you get a better idea of how well people will connect with the video. Some things to ask yourself include: are the terms and vocabulary that you use relevant? For example, are some of your target audience going to struggle to understand some industry terms mentioned? Are the concepts understandable to the viewer? You need to ensure your content and language is targeted towards the correct skill level for the viewer. You don't want to confuse them, and you don't want to patronize them either. Make sure you read the script out loud. Even if you are getting someone else to do the talking or voiceover, read the script out loud and even tape yourself doing it. This will give you an idea for how the script flows and the tone of the script. You can then do a word count, and you can usually estimate how long the duration of the video is going to be based on this. This is assuming the voiceover is pretty much non-stop throughout the video. A slow voiceover tends to be around 100 words per minute. An average voiceover tends to be around 150 words per minute. A fast voiceover tends to be around 200 words per minute. Generally, your voiceovers will tend to have around 150 words per minute. This can obviously vary depending on if you have any breaks between dialogue and how fast the speaker is. People tend to have a very short attention span, especially when browsing the internet. The opening of your video is crucial to get right. You need to grab and hold the viewer's attention almost immediately. Otherwise, they may click away. We call this the hook. This is where you hook the viewer's attention with something. It doesn't have to be right in the viewer's face, but it does need to quickly attract their focus. Here are some effective types of hooks you could use to grab the attention of the viewers right away. Emotional hook. Examples of this are charity ads showing dogs that are lonely in a shelter and looking to be adopted. Surprising fact. You could hit the viewer with a surprising fact. For example, did you know 95% of startups make this same costly mistake? Relatable story. Knowing your target audience well will help you with this one. For example, tired of having to get your smashed phone screen replaced again for a large fee? This could be for a screen protector product. Try to hook the viewer within the first 5 seconds. The next stage of the video is to address the problem that the viewer is having. You may have already touched on this with your hook in the opener. If you've touched on the problem at the start, aggravate the problem in the mind of your viewer. Why should the viewer care about their problem? What ways does it negatively affect their life or business? Try to transition from the hook as smoothly as possible. The problem should be established very quickly within your video. This is the problem you want your viewer to resonate with. Ideally, you want to set this problem up within the first 15 seconds of your video to hook them. Any longer than this, you risk losing them. There may be multiple problems that your viewer has, and you will need to find a creative way of showcasing these quickly. An example might be that you are selling a social anxiety workshop. You may have already touched on the viewer's problem, then being socially anxious, in the opener with the hook. A common mistake here is to instantly produce your solution. This is a bad idea, as you haven't itched the problem enough. It's not enough to simply remind them of their problem, then showcase your product or service. You need to really itch the viewer's problem. After the hook, you could then go on with not nailing job interviews as you are too nervous to express yourself, not getting the love life you desire due to lack of confidence. These will trigger emotions within the viewer that will aggravate the problem and will warm them up better for when you deliver your solution in the next stage of the video. Your call to action is the final section of your explainer video and it is crucial you get it right. You could do everything right up until this point and ruin it all without a proper call to action. The call to action is what will lead the viewer to your desired objective. This may be purchasing your product or service, learning more, or arranging a phone call. For sales videos, the call to action is typically going to involve the viewer being prompted to buy a product or get in touch to purchase a service. Whatever your call to action is, it is imperative to get it right. Ensure you stay focused on the viewer's needs and give them clear instructions. It's also best to try and stick to one call to action per video. Asking the viewer to follow you on all social media channels, subscribe to your newsletter, and purchase your latest products can be information overload. Stick with one clear call to action and you will get much better conversions. There are three main things to keep in mind when creating your call to action. Your call to action should be specific, create urgency, be clear. You need your viewer to understand exactly what they are expected to do next. Are they meant to visit your website URL? Are they meant to call a number? Your viewer should know exactly what is required of them by the end of the video. It is all too common to see vague calls to action that don't specify what it is the viewer should be doing. For example, an explainer video with the call to action being just the logo and the brand name to finish the video off. This may be effective for brand awareness, but isn't going to help your conversions. It would be much more effective to have your logo, then the brand name and phone number with call today highlighted. You would receive a much more effective response from the latter. If your objective is just brand awareness, then that's fine, but most businesses want the viewer to perform a specific action. You want the call to action to be as clear and easy as possible for the viewer. You don't want them to have to spend time and effort jumping through hoops and hurdles. For example, say you want the viewer to download something from your website. You could say at the end, head over to example.com to download the ebook. It would be much more effective to point them to a specific URL or have a button below the video they can click on which takes them directly to the download page, which is highlighted in the call to action section of the video. Urgency is very important in your call to action. You want the viewer to take immediate action or action as soon as possible. You don't want them clicking away from your video and doing something else, as the likelihood of them returning later and performing the call to action are low. If possible, create a time-sensitive call to action or show exclusivity. For example, grab a copy of the book now, only 500 copies will be sold. Or, take advantage of this amazing deal, only available until the end of the month. Just ensure you're being truthful with your time-sensitive call to actions and aren't deceiving your viewers, as you will lose credibility fast this way. Here are some more tips to deploy within your call to action. Guarantees. Guarantees are a great thing to have within your call to action. For example, a money-back guarantee. This may be that the customer gets a full refund with no questions asked within 30 days of purchase if they aren't satisfied. Often, this can make the difference with a potential customer taking the plunge into buying your product or service. Illustrating this with visuals in your call to action can be very effective and can vastly boost your trust and credibility. Social proof. Social proof can be extremely effective in your call to action. For example, 1 million people can't be wrong. With visuals of thousands of happy people can work wonders for convincing your viewer to take action. There are various types of social proof tactics you can employ. These could come in the form of expert stamp of approval endorsement. This could be an industry leader within your niche endorsing your product. Testimonials. Having short testimonials or a collection or collage of testimonials in your video can really boost your social proof, credentials, and awards. Including any credentials or awards your business has one can be a great way of upping your brand in the viewer's eyes. Press. If a news channel, blog, or newspaper has featured your product, it can be a good idea to include their logo within your video, such as seen on. Go back to the problem. Ensure you remember the reason why the user is watching your video and the problems they have. Don't make it all about you. Sure, throw in some nice facts about your business and how you have helped lots of people, etc. But make sure it is about the audience. Ensure they know that you are trying to help them solve their problem. Make it interactive. Depending on the publishing platform of your video, you may have interactive options you can take advantage of. On YouTube, there are many options for inserting clickable buttons into your videos. These can be a great way of getting users to take immediate action and click through to your desired location. This is a much more efficient method than the viewer having to manually type in, for example, the URL of your website. The less effort required by the viewer, the better. Typography videos, also known as kinetic typography, are animated videos that rely primarily on typography to deliver your message. You can often find these mixed with explainer videos where there's a blend of scenes with characters and then a scene full of animated text. For this section, we will just be discussing typography videos that only feature text. For these videos, you don't want to have them too long due to the lack of visual content. These types of videos can be good for teaser videos or for shorter social media videos. At first, it may seem that a video just full of text would be boring. This certainly was how it used to be in the earlier years of video marketing. Many people would take the lazy route with videos and create a very basic PowerPoint presentation with a couple of simple fade animations for their text and publish it online. These videos often look ugly, bland, and would not engage viewers at all. A well-crafted typography video should excite and engage the viewer. Let's have a look at some ways in how you can do this. Get the font right. Many people overlook the font when creating their videos. The font is an important element for a video, even more so for a typography video where text is the main focus. Different types of fonts communicate different types of messages. Think about the purpose of the video as well as your brand when choosing a font for your video. You may even wish to mix and match fonts. For example, using a different font to emphasize or highlight certain words. Remember that many of your viewers might be viewing from a smartphone, so ensure you choose a font that is readable on smaller devices too. Keep your video flowing. One of the key things that sets a high-quality typography video apart is constant flowing motion. Viewers get bored when you pause on a scene with too much text. For a video that is full of text and doesn't rely too much on visuals, you need to ensure the video is constantly flowing to keep the viewer engaged. You may wish to alter the pace of your video to emphasize a certain sentence or word. Switching up the pace of your video can help you take your viewer on a journey through the video and can help highlight your key points better. Merge words into shapes. This can be very visually pleasing if done well. This is where you position your words in such a way that they end up making a shape. This can be a fun way of breaking up larger sections of texts. Use some visuals. Although typography videos typically only contain text, you are allowed to use visuals too. You may wish to include some simple graphics such as arrows, etc. to help transition the scene. The characters you use in your video are extremely important. You want your characters to reflect your viewer as much as possible. If your primary target audience is elderly businessmen, then have your characters as elderly businessmen. If you are marketing a product to someone who is obese trying to lose weight, then show overweight characters. You need your viewer to instantly resonate with the character. The more in-depth you have gone with your target market research, the more resemblance your character should have with your viewer, and ultimately your results will be better. With your target audience research, you should also have an idea of the person your target audience wants to be or the goal they are striving towards. This is their goal, and it is why they are considering purchasing your product or service. For example, let's say you are marketing a fitness program for men. Your initial character you show at the start while introducing the problem can be shown as out of shape and perhaps unhappy with the way they look. As your solution is introduced, you can show that character again, but in a different state. In this example, you may show the same man at the start of the video, but in great shape and looking happy. This is also another great advantage. Animated videos have over live action with the ability to create content like this. Another example could be a creative writing course you're promoting. Your initial character could show a stressed-out student slumped at his desk looking anxiously at a piece of paper. Once you have established your solution, which could be your course, you could show the same character in a different state. This time, the student could be smiling, looking relaxed, and claiming a writing prize on stage. Understanding the goals of your target audience and why they would want to purchase your product or service is essential. Showing a character transition over the course of the video can make a real emotional impact on the viewer as they see a mirror of themselves transform before their own eyes. Remember that people connect with emotions. You need to communicate this through your video. At the end of the day, what people really want deep down are good emotions. They want great emotions and fantastic experiences. For example, someone may want a fancy sports car. However, what they really crave is the emotions that driving that car gives them, which could be a feeling of pride, joy, and satisfaction. It is important for your characters to display these emotions. Don't just show the goal. Nailing the narration is crucial. You may wish to do the voiceover yourself. However, to make the explainer video as professional as possible, it's recommended that you hire a professional voiceover artist. There are various websites where you can find voiceover artists at reasonable rates. Some good ones to note are www.voices.com, www.voicebunny.com, www.fiverr.com. Consider your target market when selecting a voiceover artist. What voice would they best identify with? If you are marketing a product to the British public, you will want to use a UK voiceover artist. Ensure the accent of the voiceover artist is suited to your target geographical area. The above sites mentioned have a variety of accents, so you shouldn't have too much trouble finding a suitable one. You should also think about a couple of other aspects. Think about the age of the narrator and their tone of voice. Are they best suited to your style of video? For a more fun video, you may wish to go with someone with a softer and more upbeat voice. Have a look at related videos within your market and see what type of narrators other companies are using. Try to find voiceover artists that have some similar experience in recording what you are after, as this will make everything go much smoother. Try to give the artist as much direction as possible for the recording. Give them some background about your business, what you are selling, and your target audience. If possible, send them some example tones and styles from other videos that you would like them to try to emulate. The more information, the better, and can result in you saving money in the event of revisions. Music has an incredible potential to trigger emotions within viewers. The right soundtrack to accompany your message and visual content can be highly effective. It is extremely easy to pick a random royalty-free song that sounds nice and throw it in, but it pays off to have a think and explore the thousands of options you have. Choosing the right soundtrack to suit your video and brand can massively help convey your message more effectively. Although an often subtle element of a video, the soundtrack really can make or break your video. You first need to look at the role the music will play in your video. The visuals, narrative, and soundtrack should all be aligned. The wrong soundtrack can really throw the video off and detract from your intended message. Think about the narrative style of the voiceover. Is it fun and humorous? Or is it more factual and serious? What type of music would appeal the most to my target audience? What is the visual style of the video? Are there any musical stereotypes for your products and industry? What information is your video conveying? If you're conveying lots of technical information, it may be best to choose a soundtrack that is not very distracting or in your face so as not to pull the focus away from the information. If you're trying to provoke emotions as opposed to delivering information, then a soundtrack that helps trigger emotions will work better. Think about the pacing of the soundtrack. A track with consistent rhythm will allow you to stop and start the soundtrack throughout the video to help you emphasize and illustrate certain points. Cutting the soundtrack at a certain point of the video and then resuming it to emphasize a message or visual can be very effective. Don't overuse this technique though, as it will lose its effectiveness after a couple of times. You could also use soundscapes within your video. These aren't necessarily soundtracks, but more a combination of sounds that make up a scene. For example, a beach, airport, or a hospital. This can be a good alternative for when you don't want to use a soundtrack. You could even use a mixture of a main soundtrack then a soundscape for a couple of scenes in your video where you want to drive more attention to the scene itself. So where do you find soundtracks for your video? There are loads of great sites online where you can find soundtracks for your video. When choosing a song, you need to make sure you read and understand the license of the song. Ideally, you want to look for royalty-free song soundtracks. This means you pay a one-time fee for using the song, and not every time it is used or heard. Below are some fantastic websites for finding soundtracks. Among them are some websites that offer free soundtracks for your video too. www.themusiccase.com, www.audiojungle.net, www.bensound.com. You may wish to include sound effects within your video, and some strategically placed sounds can really emphasize certain points within your video and help bring it to life. Some useful websites for sound effects are www.soundsnap.com, www.audiojungle.net. You can use sounds in a variety of ways. Let's say you have a text block on screen that you want to emphasize. Along with visually emphasizing it, you could accompany its appearance on screen with a pop or bang sound effect, helping draw the viewer's attention to it and the text contents. You can also use it to help bring characters to life. You could add footsteps or sounds with the character interacting with the environment around them. These subtle sounds can help make the video much more engaging, resulting in your viewer sticking around longer. It is important to mix the sound effects right. You don't want the sound effects to be too quiet or too overpowering either. The narration and soundtrack should normally take priority over sound effects. We hope that you enjoyed this short video course by videomastership.com. To learn more about explainer videos and download free assets you can use within your videos, head on over to www.videomastership.com now.